It's a journey, y'all. It's called The Journey Within. That's what my friend said to me. She said,
Genius.
there's no greater journey than the journey within.
Yo, what's good, Soul Tribe? Thank you for being the vibe. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Spread, where we take the journey within, and on this path we are led. Yo, new hair, who this? But anyway, I'm gonna tippy tap in as always. I actually got quite a few downloads before I actually started with this. Let's see. What's going on? Okay, here we are. So, wow. Okay, guys, here we are, right? Let's begin. This is, I don't know, it's like it's a weird message. It's like coming through so like interestingly. There's just something up in the air, right? 131. But I got a message. So I got some downloads before starting, right? And one of them was about being able to turn back time. I was even hearing the song by Tory Lanez. Also interestingly, it was like me also thinking about the year in review, thinking about Spotify Wrapped as well. But there was a message that I got earlier before my meditation about how this is the day. Like, this is the day. So there's something about this day being pronounced in a sense, so this is, and you fill in the blank, you know what I mean? There's also something about spaceships, space crusaders, flying saucers, aliens, and outcasts. And I mean, I was led to wearing this t-shirt today. As you can see, it's got some space things going on there, bunch of some geometry and all of this. It even has like an alien at the back. But yeah, I don't know, I was just led to dressing like this. This video started by itself, and you know what, there's also something about the number 26, and I just saw 236 on the timer there. But I'm just gonna trust however this video wants to come out. I was even led to which decks to use today. So I've got the Past Life Energy Oracle. Okay, I haven't shuffled yet, but at the bottom it's already saying devotion, spiritual practice, intuitive history. Let's leave that there. And then we're going with the OGs today. We're going with the OGs with the Rider-Waite tarot deck. And let's see what we get at the bottom before shuffling. Wow, the Emperor and the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. Yo, just going off of these, it's like, is the Emperor looking after his kingdom? What is the devotion? Are you, thinking about the history as well? Like, can you think back to all the things that you know or that you've been given introspectively, and trust that those messages are coming through as they should, when they should? But then also knowing that because of history, and with what card was it? The Wheel of Fortune that we saw there. I'm just getting a sense of a passage of time. It's like you were once, okay, Spirit saying this one right here. Okay, another one. Oh, right here. Okay, we got two archangels coming through at the back of the deck. No. Okay. So it's like, can we kind of remember what our history is about, what we've went through before, and know that there's always going to be a passage of time, right? Maybe that's why it's like a turn back time. Oh, wow, look at it all coming together. The intuitive history, the turning back time, even like how people would say like we are from... Is this recording? Okay, it is. History is recorded. Oh my gosh, look at me checking about if the recording is going. But it's like, how some people would say like we are from ancient times, we are like from Anunnaki and, things of that nature. So I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's going to relate with someone or for somebody. But other than that, it's like, you rule your kingdom, as soon as you remember where you come from, you also know where you're going, you know what I mean? I feel, oh, look at that with the Four of Wands and the Homecoming there, okay? But it's like we have to just be present, just understand that there is something to... Okay, this one as well. We'll take it. And back of the deck. No. Yes. Or later. Okay. All right, we'll look at it later. Okay, looks like these two actually want to be hidden for a bit. But yeah, I just think that there's something very interesting about that. But with us like proclaiming, pronouncing the day, thinking about what it is and where we're at, I think there's just something about us recognizing, that we are here to rule, that we are the rulers of our kingdom, the rulers of our minds as well. And whatever's coming through with that devotion is like, what are we setting our minds towards? What is it that we want to pronounce and proclaim on this day? Because this is the day. And we need to remember as well, you don't want to like repeat past mistakes. You also want to keep in mind that once you know better, you do better. So yeah, let's see what we got. As always, welcome to the Daily Spread. Welcome, Soul Tribe. Thank you for being the vibe, where we take the journey within and on the path we are led. Thank you, angels, guardians, ancestors, ascended masters, for being with us here at this time. The boy got a rhyme. And yes, in the highest vibration of love we dwell. And may this reading and message be swell. Hey, you know what it is. Clocking this thing. So let's see, left and right. I was later putting these over here. But let's see what we got. So we have Archangel Zachiel, and it says compassion, freedom, and forgiveness. And on this side, we have Archangel Haniel, joy, gratitude, and intuition. So intuition came through in before shuffling, and intuition's coming through again. So it's definitely about trusting these intuitive hits that you're getting. Like there's messages coming through about like, yo, take time to actually download this thing. I think you might have like crown chakra, third chakra activated right now. There's something very strong about that. I think you are definitely putting your sights towards, all of these positive emotions. I mean, I'm thinking about peace, because Space Ranger, all the positive emotions. But just look at this. We've got compassion, freedom, forgiveness, and on this side, joy, gratitude. So it's like such a high vibrational positive attitude right now. And I'm even being led to how I changed the setup today just for like this reading. And I think there's something very significant about how I set things up in this way. Me putting the rose quartz here, like very much love energies. And then also with the intuition, there's so much amethyst here on the table. There's just something about that. But I think we'll get into it a lot more. But for now, we've got 41. If you add the 2, that's 5. So definitely a change. And then if we add 15 here, that's coming to 6. So 5, 6 things are definitely, moving in motion or increasing, ascending, if you want to look at it like that. Okay, split the deck on this side. Let's see what we got. 40. Oh, wow. And look at me just talking about the numbers, how this would have, of course, reduced to a 4. And then we had 5, we had 6 there. But over here, it's like what? Hobbies, sports, and favorite pastimes. What is it that we enjoy doing? Remembering what it is that actually fills us, our passions, our interests. And again, that kind of reminds us who we are, where we are at our core. Interesting that this message just decided to pop in right now at the beginning. And it's like, I'm getting this sense of like surprises, things that are just going to pop in, things that are just going to make their way not only into this reading, but into your life, into your space, and ultimately reveal themselves as, something that is passionate. And, passion is like from within. You just want to get that thing out of you. You know what I mean? And, the things that we're passionate about is things that we love. So you would enjoy doing the things that you love, the things that you're passionate about. And if it's your favorite thing to do, then you don't even realize time is passing by. So here's this message about time coming through again. So it's like we're maybe turning back time to when we were more passionate and within our interests, and realizing that those favorite things that we did or were doing are what is bringing out, this compassion, freedom, forgiveness, joy, gratitude, and intuition. Because ultimately that's what's like encapsulating this whole thing. I'm even getting like something about like how I've even set up these crystals. It's almost like there's a bubble, there's a portal that actually we are going through. And I'm even being led to look at the back of this deck, how it also looks like a clock as well, and it looks like all these different energies are coming in, almost like swirling in together to create this portal where we're able to move time, change time. And I don't know, there's just something about time being put on pause or on hold for some reason. um it's interesting now. I'm just like now being drawn to the tarot cards. We have the Five of Cups, the Four of Wands in reverse, and the Two of Pentacles. And then, of course, two other cards, which Spirit says I shouldn't open up right now, but we'll get to them. But I'm being led to this Two of Pentacles. It's easy for us to want to weigh up what's good for us and what isn't good for us. But with me seeing it in the middle and like thinking about it as like the challenge or maybe even the turning point within this reading, it's to say like whatever is about to pop up, like again, we're speaking about surprises and so on. So we're getting a sneak peek, we be tapping in to what Spirit has for us. But whatever is going to be revealed for us, right? It's a matter of saying that we need to evaluate, we need to weigh things up and actually ask ourselves if it's part of what we want to manifest. Yes, there might be trials and tribulations, there might be tests, there might be things that we need to go through, 1131, that we need to consider, right? That we need to weigh up and see what do we like ascend and what descends, what rises and what goes down. But with it being a number two, I'm also thinking about the balance and how do we maintain balance and ensure that things remain in balance or moving in tandem. In the background, I'm also seeing the waters there, and what's coming to mind is like the King of Cups, where even through the trials and the tribulations, you can ultimately get to a point of like being emotionally discerning, emotionally strong, emotionally stable. Actually, that's the word I was looking for. But yeah, there's just something about a very important decision that will need to be made, and I think it will come about after having this surprise or this new energy being presented to you. But also what's also coming through, with that passions and favorite pastimes, it's almost like you're gonna have to choose between like following your passion and the things that you love to do, or like dwelling in this quote unquote like negative energy or energy that's trying to pull you away from the positivity that's actually trying to protect and encapsulate you. But yeah, let's start here at the beginning. So Five of Cups, past times again, if we're thinking about this as like what's starting off the reading, we are recognizing that there are some things that we pursued in our past that didn't necessarily work out. Maybe they weren't meant for us. It was not emotionally fulfilling. But again, here's the water coming through. With the water under the bridge, is that can we see that this is just something that was part of our journey for our growth, for our expansion. And I'm even being led to seeing how like this beam or ray from this spaceship over here, it's like how people get like pulled up and like hijacked or pulled up into spaceships, and people be like there was some, what is it, flip, what is those, abduction. It's like an abduction of sorts. So it's like you went into a certain time or mode or space where your energy was almost abducted. You felt like you were abducted, taken away, being outcast, being even like over here with this black cape on, it's like you're the outcast, you're the black sheep, you're the one that is being put to the side, even though you were looking at all these different ways that you were putting your energy forward, trying to fill these cups, but ultimately these cups are spilled. And look at that, there's like some red water, there's even some green water. So I'm getting something about algae, or where like what was once thought of as like a free flowing. Look at that. It wasn't free flowing, right? It was not free flowing. It even was like stumbling out of my mouth or tongue over there. But it's like it's a tongue twister. You even had to watch your words, because ultimately our words are what's gonna like our words and the things that we say get us into positivity or into negativity. Your tongue can protect, your tongue can hurt. It's so important for us to be aware of our words and our mouths and how we speak. And I think, there are some things that were said, some things that were perhaps never said, but we realized that they were not necessarily meant to make it this way. And that's why these cups were spilled. That's why the water was muddied. That red water there could be like some sand in it. This water here with algae could mean like maybe some kind of infection in the water's changing color. I'm even seeing now in my mind's eye about like a pool that has like, all this green around it. It hasn't been cleaned. So the water was stained ultimately is what I'm getting to, right? But, here we are having this new opportunity. We've got these two cups and we've got these two angels. Come on now. The angels are coming through by saying like, yo, look at this as like water under the bridge, because you definitely were there to learn and experience something, and you being outcast or you being alienated is actually going to work to your benefit, because now you know what it's like to be an outcast. You know what it's like, look at this, to not have a home, to not have a place where you are appreciated, to not have a place where you are welcomed. So because of this understanding, and I think, looking at them together, like going from one to the next one, it's a matter of saying like, you realize that all these places where you try to put energy into, it's where you are actually just learning and now being shown that it's not for you to put your energy or your time and your emotions into these places. While you could grieve and wonder like, what was lost, think about what was gained, that you actually were being protected from setting your foundation with things and people or places or spaces that were actually not for you. So it's like, while this might kind of seem like, okay, now you don't have a home or you don't have a place, you are actually going to be finding a new place or a new environment to have people welcome you, to have people celebrate you and kind of give you some stable place or some stable structure. And, I'm getting something about even being able to express yourself, especially now we're getting, the passions and the interests. It's like, you weren't able to express yourself or comfortably ground these passions and interests, and that's why it was in the past. So why we are turning back time is because we're bringing back those passions and interests into this time, but in a different place, because where they were before wasn't where they needed to be. Wow, look at all that light. You can't even see this card so properly. Goodness gracious. Oh, you needed to like, get it into focus, like step back from it a little bit and see that, what, you still had it. You still had it. Is it still visible now? And it is. Oh, it's coming in at a different angle. It's coming in at a different angle. Goodness gracious. Hey, spirit be cooking. And just, using these visuals for like some crazy stuff. But as I'm seeing this, like it almost looks like a wreath or wraith. That's what they call it, like when people put like things around. But it's also like thinking about like a party and how, you weren't maybe even celebrated or seen for, your passions or your interests, the things that you were doing. Because it's the wands energy, it's our creation energy. We're trying to balance and ground these things, but it didn't work out. So, with me seeing the 1111, it's out of balance. But then that's why we are now being led to this new pentacle. Now it's like you are going to be presented with an opportunity to bring things back into balance and now determine if it is worth your manifestation. And me being oh, throat chakra coming through again, me being brought back to this wraith, or I don't know what it's called, man. When they put balloons on it, like a display, like an arch. Ooh, and there it is there. I'm seeing the arch. Spirit, man. And spirit like led me to this. I saw this earlier and something was calling me to this arch, but it's like, what is gonna go through this arch, you know what I mean? And it's like, architect, you now have an opportunity to create it, to manifest it. That's why we have the infinity sign there. But it's like, it's a frown in a sense. You're all sad and stuff, but now you can turn your frown into a smile. You can turn this whole situation around, because like we saw at the beginning with the Wheel of Pentacles, the wheel is turning cycles. Things change, things rearrange, and sometimes it may be strange. The boy got a rhyme all the time, but we make the most of these things. We make the most of these things. I feel like speeding up energy is coming in right now, and I'm just being late to flipping over these cards, but it feels like something's definitely gonna speed up. Wow. What? Goodness gracious. My time is even going off right now. Oh my word. It's time. It is time. Goodness gracious. Wow. Wow, that was unexpected. I just saw 2011. I think something important might have happened to you in 2011, or something about 2 and 1 1. But that's what we saw, right? 2 and 1 1. But oh, goodness gracious, let's just cook up right here, real quick. And again, I'm feeling this energy of speed. It's like Spurs telling me, like, yo, things are gonna happen so quickly from this point onwards. You just have to be like aware. And again, like how I had a timer like just going off, it's like it's time. Goodness gracious. But here we have the I just felt all these shivers right now. Here we have the Five of Swords in reverse, and we have the Tower, and Spirits like read these together. So it's like I'm just getting this energy of like how things are coming to a resolution. So take this as a positive card for sure, right? But as things are coming to a resolution, I'm getting that there were things in this past that were causing turmoil, conflict, and this is actually being highlighted by the Tower, is to say there are some energies that would prefer to stay in this Five of Swords energy in the upright, where there's like a pettiness, there's like a winning at all costs, there's like a savage type of an energy, like goodness, like a carelessness is coming through, something like that, you know what I mean? And it's like somebody doesn't care, reckless actually, yes, that's what's coming through as well. It's like somebody doesn't care about the damage that they cause and so on, but we are being presented with an opportunity to resolve things, to come to like a amicable, peaceful place, solution, outcome. But it's like even this positive outcome still is a big change, because if I'm looking at all of these cards, this is the only major arcana card here, and it's a matter of saying, can we or you stay? Okay, definitely a situation that involves multiple people. I'm definitely getting something about it like being either 3 or 4 people. Spirit's actually pointing me to how there's 3 people in this Five of Swords, but then there's 4 wands, and then there's 2 other people here. So I don't know if there's like something about a separation from a group, a family, a friend circle, or something like that, or even a workplace. But there's definitely something about a group and different energies being involved. Something was plotted, schemed, planned. But, even with me looking at it being like 5 people, and then on the Tower card, how 2 people are like popping out of the building. It's like people are being like booted out, or also being recognized for their input in how the situation came to be. So if we are looking for peace and wanting to embrace all these positive emotions, yet maybe there are people who don't want to do that, that is actually going to bring about the greatest change, is that you're actually going to have to leave some people behind. And I'm even getting, with this thunderbolt, with this divine intervention, it's like this is God, angels, guardians stepping in, and you're actually going to be grateful and be joyous that this was revealed for what it is. Here's the truth coming through. So definitely a big change is on its way. And I'm being reminded again to say, because of this, almost like a crossroads, because of this like middle point in where you are on your journey with what you're doing, you are now being shown that there's a way to decide which path you want to go. I just saw 2, 3, 4, 5 on the timer. That was crazy. So it's like things are actually in alignment, and you are now being presented with war, but war is actually going to give you peace. I know it kind of sounds a bit like crazy at the same time. And I even just noticed how like, even on my face, like, I kind of like, tightened up over here, but then I just like released. So you're going to have to release, and that release is going to bring you some peace. And that's ultimately what's going to allow you to remain in this positive emotion. And that's why this structure had to crumble. That's why the structure had to change. And, things, there's like a shakeup, what you had once built your foundation upon, it's gonna change. That's why I feel like this is something very important. It's even giving that foundational family type of vibe. I mean, I'm even thinking about how we had this we had a home. This is what we had, but now we realize that we don't have it anymore, and that's why the foundation is shaking. Goodness gracious, something happened in our past, and it's causing us to now change up, because this family, this friend group, this place that we were working at, living at, creating at, is no longer the same anymore. And we realized that, we couldn't be our best people there. We couldn't have our crown, because look at what is happening to the crown. The crown was extended. And it's almost like I'm getting something about an antenna, or wanting to look for, your path, the way you're meant to go. But then it's like it was covered up. It's almost like, how, I'm even getting people who are like into space and like superstitious and stuff, how they would like wear like these tin hats and kind of like try to protect themselves from like all these energies. I'm even like seeing my microwave behind me there. It's like, you're trying to protect yourself from like frequencies that are not actually for you. But because you actually did protect yourself from these frequencies, okay, it's coming to as protection now. And also with the red colors in the root chakra, the foundation, it's like because you integrated with the reds and the greens and you brought it into your heart. Look at this red and green individual here in the front, who's now coming to this amicable, this peaceful resolution. But what is peace for one is destruction for another. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, I think let's leave it right there. Peace and love. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Daily Spread, where we take the journey within, and on this path we are led. Yay, yay. Enjoy, gang. Peace and love.